Cyril Potter, and I should be 87 years old in a week or two's time. I trained as a pilot in Rhodesia, and then the Middle East, and then Pune in India. And then I met up with Angus Gray, and we both joined 152 together. This was at a place called Khan, K-A-N. And the first thing we realised there that we were looking at an Ensa party one night. They got a rough stage there with a piano on it. There was several vehicles got the headlights onto the stage, and suddenly we hear machine guns, and the Jap plane went over, the piano went over, the lights went out, and we dived under the nearest cover, and it turned out to be a petrol there that we were under. Anyway, we moved from there to a place called Sindri, and bit of bad luck for the squadron there, because the Japs bombed us one night and 10 got killed. This was mostly on the ground staff section, and 30 odd injured. And in fact, Angus Gray and one of the others in the tent I was in, they got little shrapnel wounds on their wrist and leg, I think it was. And our tent the next morning looked like a colander with the holes that were there. Well, in April of that year, I was out with 3 others on a dawn patrol, and we were supposed to, we could beat anybody up on the canal. Well, there was rivers, roads and railways all run parallel with each other, north to south. And we'd got just over the place. This was to strafe anything that we saw. And suddenly somebody said, "There's Japs up there." And it turned out there was 20 of the fighters come straight down on us, because we were at ground level and they were up about 16,000 feet. And we climbed, we got overload tanks on which we had to dock, petrol tanks. And I couldn't keep up with the other 3 and had to sort of turn back. And doing that, I got surrounded by 5 of them and got shot up as well. It took most of the elevator out on the rudder at the back. Big holes in the wing. Petrol tank got hold on the wing tank. Apparently when I got back, they found out your undercarriage worked on a Bowden cable system. There was 1 strand left of that, which operated, and it had even got the cine camera, so although I got it on, there was no record of anything happening. And we were I was about 300 miles away from base, so I wondered what it's going to be like going back, but I got it back all right in the end. And one Australian, and Ron Partridge, he shot one of them down actually. And one of the other rough blokes, he probably got a bullet through the tyre on one way and had to do a belly landing when he got back. So that was enough for me that time. From there we moved on. Oh, we also got bombed on the airstrip another night, and it wiped out 1 or 2 airspits and some Hurricanes that an Indian squadron had got there. Well, from there we moved to a place called Maida Vale, or the proper name was Magway, and we were doing cover over the bridgehead landings on the tributary of the Irrawaddy, and we were really doing that day in and day out. It almost got a bit boring in the end. And at that point, several of our chaps did get an odd plane down, but we never saw any over the bridges when we were doing the patrols. And then, as the Japs was shot back further. We eventually moved to a place called Mk V111, and there'd been quite a lot of drones, Jap drones there, and it was south of Mandalay. Sorry about that. When you went into the place, all you saw was dead Japs laying about. We went in one building, there was a heap of bones there that the dogs were having a go at. And there'd been a flamethrower put on the remains there. While we were there, we had a trip up to Mandalay, which at that time had fallen then, because there was a Fort Dufferin there. But when they got into it in the end, the Japs had escaped out on another part. And that was shattered, virtually every building in that place. I suppose now it's all been rebuilt. Well, from there, we finished up doing some strafing of the Japs more south, and also, first time ever and the only one, they put bombs on our plate, on our Spits, and I dropped a £500 bomb, which was quite something, because at that point the monsoons were about, and the mud and that about, we were taking off on, it was like wire strips laid down on the paddy field, otherwise you'd just sink in, and we were taking off with bombs on board there. Anyway, it come that the war was finished when they dropped the atom bombs. We got posted down to Rangoon, and because F.Sqn and I were the oldest ones on the squadron there, not in age but in time, we had to go with on board a boat with all the kit while the squadron flew from Rangoon with one stop to Singapore. And one of our chaps, and this would have been the plane, if I'd have been going, I should have been flying, and it was a New Zealander named Warrant Officer Anderson, and he, something happened that he went to jump out, had to jump out of his parachute, which got caught up in the tail, and he got killed, which I think is actually on your site on the computer side. Well, we finished up at Singapore in the end, and we were there till March of the next year when the squadron disbanded, and we just started getting Spit 14s at that point, so I had one trip in it and that was it. Anyway, three of us, it was myself and F.Sqn, one of the officers, got posted to 132 Squadron in Hong Kong, and we had to board a Sunderland flying boat in Singapore and went up, stuck in the tail of that, all three of us, while they took posh Chinese and Malaysians in the cabin part, which didn't go down too well. When we got up to Hong Kong, there was no flying there because they were having trouble with the humidity and the engines, with the Griffin engine, because they'd got Spit 14s there then. And we never did fly there because it disbanded as well a month or two after that. So all we did really was laze about most of the time. And from there, my repatriation come through, and I flew from there waited one stop in Indochina at Saigon, and then down back to the camp where we'd been on at Tenga in Singapore. But unfortunately, instead of being in the Married Quarter buildings, we were now in tents. And at that point I got my warrant officer to come through. And from there we boarded a ship. It was a converted aircraft carrier from a Canadian merchantman, and it was just a flat top, and we were stuck on there, a month coming back. It broke down in the bed and they called in at Malta, and then we called in at Gibraltar as well. And eventually got home in Plymouth. And that was a welcome sight, because having seen the growth of stuff and the trees and that abroad, it's nothing like the English green of the grass and trees that you see in England. Well, from there went up to Liverpool and went through the ferry, went through the tunnel rather, not the ferry, to a camp. I can't remember the name, out the other side, and that was at midnight. They gave us went to the cookhouse and we got bacon and egg breakfast, and told to go and find a hut that we could keep in for the rest of the night. And then when we come out, we got passes and everything else given to us, and then come home on leave for a month, because we'd had hardly any leave at all in 3.5 years abroad. And then after the leave, I was posted to Bentley Priory at Stanmore, which was Nelson's hideaway with his lover, I suppose you say, Lady Hamilton, was it? And it was headquarter fighter command there, where all the controls were, you know, in the underground there. And I was there till the December, and then got demobbed myself, and that was the end of my RAF career.